Rangers wanted their man, and now they've got him on transfer deadline day. But unfortunately, they're going to have to wait another 5 months until he joins up with the club. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. Some transfer news. More specifically, some big news for Rangers. They have signed Lyall Cameron from Dundee. However, it is on a pre-contract, so he will not be a Rangers player until the summer when his Dundee contract expires. And I think this is a good signing for Rangers, but I think it's a signing that they could probably do with right now. Yes, the league's gone, but they're still in European competition. They're still in the Scottish Cup.
Cup tied.
And they still want to finish as close to Celtic as possible. So, yeah, for me, Lyall Cameron, a good player. And if Rangers were going to get him for free, it would make a bit more sense in my eyes to allow this pre-contract deal to go ahead. But the fact are, Rangers are going to need to probably pay compensation anyway. So why not just try and negotiate a deal with Dundee? I mean, Dundee will be happier with this because they're going to be able to keep him till the end of the season and get money for him anyway. But it just feels like to me that Rangers should have just tried to offer a little bit more than they were willing to pay, and they could have got Lyall Cameron in right here, right now. And, get him settled in, get him in the team so that next season he can hit the ground running, and he's just not this new player that is taking time to bed in. Agree or disagree?
Well, I'm very happy with the signing, first of all. You know what? I agree to a degree. Because, yeah, you want the guy to come in, you want to bed him in, right? But at the same time, he's cup tied, folks. He can't play in the Scottish Cup. I deal facts, you deal bloody
fiction.
You deal fiction, right? Yeah.
Oh, here's a fact for you.
If you were truly
Aberdeen,
Jambo Bear, you'd have got it.
Aberdeen are shite. How's that for a fact?
Aberdeen are rank fucking rotten. Anyway, right. Lyall Cameron, correct signing. I'm very happy about it. But when you factor in that Rangers are going to have to pay a compensation fee anyway, may as well just pay it now. But Rangers have been smart about this. I think this deal's been done for a couple of weeks, but they've just dragged it out to deadline day to make it look like, yeah, we're not signing them anyway, so we'll announce it on deadline day to make it look like we've done a lot.
You think the fans will be more happier getting this because it's like, oh, we've managed to get something done on the deadline day rather than...
That's pretty, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Now, he has played 108 games, 27 goals, 12 assists.
Which is good stats.
He's 22-year-old. We're not talking about 17, 18-year-olds here. If Connor Barron can go straight into the Rangers team like he did at the start of the season, no excuse for this guy.
No, I think Lyall Cameron will be looking to go straight in. I mean, he'll probably have to earn the position, but I think he'll be looking to become a starting 11 player in his first season. Well, whether he goes straight in or not, I think is probably unlikely.
And I think that central midfield position for Rangers, you're beginning to get a bit of depth in it now. You factor in Bailey Rice coming through, you factor in Lyall Cameron, you factor in Connor Barron, and
Diomande, Raskin.
And Lyall Cameron
decent.
Is a wee bit more attacking than some of them, I guess. But yeah, it's a good signing. I can't complain about it. Yes, I'd want him in right now, but you know what? At the same time, he'll get more game time at Dundee for the rest of the season.
Yeah, so he should therefore be a better player by the time he actually arrives at Rangers. And he is having a good season at Dundee.
And he's coming in with a clean slate, right?
And you know what?
He's not going into league games at the rest of this season that are kind of pointless to a degree.
Yeah, and the rest of his league games are going to be important. They're going to be meaningful games because he's trying to help Dundee finish as high as they possibly can. But I think he's stepped up this season. I mean, he's always been, in my eyes, since he's been at Dundee, he's always been one of their, better players. But I think when we seen Luke McCowan leave, that for me, Lyall Cameron's definitely stepped up and he's, took that role of Luke McCowan. And now he's getting the same kind of move Luke McCowan got, a big move to a big club in Scotland. So he's pretty much following in the footsteps.
No, he is. He pretty much filled the void for them. I think most people expected Dundee to struggle this season. But I tell you what, Dundee fans are not very happy about this move.
Well, I don't blame them, but I remember us looking at the start of the window, we looked at the Dundee team and we pointed out so many of their key players are running out of contract at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And, Lyall Cameron was one of them. I believe the likes of Tiffany, I think Scott Tiffany, his contract is gone at the end of the season. Silla's contract is up at the end of the season. I mean, pretty much all the good players at Dundee, their contracts are coming to an end, and this is the kind of thing that happens.
As much as Dundee fans don't want this guy to start probably from now on, they need him to start. You know what I mean?
Just it's poor management in Scotland. The clubs need to tie these guys down. I know they're going to say, "Oh, finances can't afford to," but you've got to spend the money to accumulate it in the future. And had Dundee offered Lyall Cameron a good contract, then they could have sold him for a lot more money rather than lose him for compensation fees. So.
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is.
It's like Dundee just don't have the luxury not to play Lyall Cameron. It's like if Hadji, for example, agrees a move to someone else, right? Rangers, the league, they're nowhere near Celtic and they're nowhere near the rest of the pack, so they can just afford to not play Hadji. I mean, even if Hadji agreed to leave, I'll be honest, I would still want him in the Europa League squad. I'd still want him playing in that and the Scottish Cup. But with Dundee, it's like you can't afford not to be not playing your best players, man.
Anyway, if I was a Dundee fan, I would be disappointed because Lyall Cameron has been, probably their best player this season, and he's going to leave. Yeah, they'll get money, but there's no reason why they couldn't have bumped up his wages, got him to sign like a 2-3 year deal, and then still decided to sell him in the summer. Now here, maybe if they did sign him to a 2-3 year deal, maybe Rangers would be like, well, we're not paying that kind of money for the guy. But I'm sure, based on how good Lyall Cameron's been, there would have been other clubs maybe down south that would have took this guy.
I think that's the actual problem, though. I think we've seen over the years that there's just not enough bids from the top two to sign players from other clubs. I think a lot more clubs would offer their young talent big deals if they actually thought that they were going to be guaranteed to move them on. And I like Lyall Cameron, but for example, there's not as much hype around him as there is to like a Lennon Miller. Like, I think if Motherwell offered Lennon Miller like a 2-year extension, they would definitely make money off it.
Well, they should. It's in Motherwell. I mean, you look at the hype around Lennon Miller. Motherwell should, and I know maybe they say they can't afford to, but even if it means doubling or tripling his wages, that is you take that short time pain for the long time gain, surely. Because Lennon Miller, if Motherwell can add a couple of years, extend his contract by a couple of years, then you're talking an extra few million onto the transfer fee. And that will make back any money extra that you have to pay him a week with a new contract. So to me, Dundee have kind of, dropped the ball here. But like you said, there just isn't the interest from clubs either in Europe or in England for the likes of a Lyall Cameron that there is a Lennon Miller. You look at Lennon Miller, you've got clubs in Italy, clubs in Europe, clubs in England that are interested in him. And maybe you see with the other players domestically in Scotland, there's not maybe that same sort of reach.
I just think there's players over the years that you can tell are going to go for, like Hickey. We knew he was going to go for something, right? Miowski, you knew he was going to go for something. It's like, but it's hard to judge, right?
Because yeah, well, one time you would have thought Shank would have went for something, but
I'm happy with this Lyall Cameron signing. But on the flip side, Dundee, right, in the summer when McCann left, could have gave this guy a 2 or 3 year contract, and his arse goes, and it's like, holy shit, Dundee's just a club that can't really afford to give a big contract out for a guy to fade away. Anyway, we'll move on, because Aberdeen have signed Mats Noster following the expiration of his centre-back half contract at Ferencváros. Here, looks like a decent signing. Aberdeen can't score and they can't defend, so they're trying to patch up one half of that, and it's at the back. I don't think this guy... they've signed 4 signings, right? Good signings, Latvian captains, guys across Europe, right?
No, it doesn't matter who they sign. There is something fundamentally wrong with Aberdeen. Because the same players,
JT,
the same players that were having them go toe to toe with that other team at the beginning of the season are the same players that are playing now. And you don't, and it's like people saying, "Oh, Hearts are shite now." You don't just turn shite overnight, right? Hearts had an issue. They got rid of Stephen Naismith. And, I mean, I'm not even a big, massive Neil Critchley fan, but you can see Hearts have improved. The results are getting better. Aberdeen were doing well with the same players that they had at the start of the season. and no, those players have obviously dropped the ball now. We've seen it in football history. Clubs do not change players. They change manager. Because unfortunately, it's too difficult to change 10, 15 players.
Carlisle United sacked a guy yesterday who made 12 signings this window. So don't let them tell you that Jimmy Thielen can't be sacked because he's brought in 4.
But see, I don't think... What can realistically happen in the space of a month where they're like, right, you've got to go now? That would tell me that even when this January transfer window began, Carlisle must have knew there is a chance we're going to get rid of him. Because you don't go from being safe to being sacked in 4 weeks. I don't think that's possible. So therefore, you've got to wonder, why did Carlisle... Did they maybe think, look, we're going to back him, we're going to give him a chance here, we're going to give him these signings to see if he can turn it, and then maybe by the end of the window they thought, you know what,
this guy's
it's not happening?
No, probably.
Possibly. Anyway, Matt Noster has joined Aberdeen. Preston have signed Ryan Porteous on loan from Championship rivals Watford. So, Ryan Porteous still only 25 years old. I think he's a player that a lot of people forget about. I still think he's a solid defender. He's got a good Scotland career ahead of him. I mean, is he a starting player for Scotland these days? Probably not, maybe not. But I still think there's a player in there with Ryan Porteous.
Yeah, you know what? Played a lot of minutes for Watford, just getting moved out like a big bag of shite to Preston. Had I took him to Rangers, absolutely.
Yeah, so interesting with that one. And finally, AC Milan advisor Zlatan Ibrahimovic wants the club to bring Scotland midfielder Lewis Ferguson to San Siro from Bologna, according to news article or news paper, news website, media website, Milan Live. So Zlatan wants Ferguson to go to Milan, and I mean, we've pretty much seen over the past year there's been a lot of interest in Lewis Ferguson. Am I right in thinking that this move that he gets, assuming he does move, is going to make him the most expensive Scottish player of all time, possibly?
I'd say so, but I think holding them back, it's Serie A. Don't spend a lot of money in Serie A, especially
what is the current record?
I think it's Tierney, isn't it?
What did McTominay?
No, McTominay was a lot cheaper than Tierney, I believe.
Gilmore was...
Gilmore was 12, I think McTominay was about 18.
I think Lewis Ferguson will break 25.
No, he should.
So
put it this way, if he was going to the Premier League...
Fuck, he'd break 15 a
Yeah.
Which is mental.
Yeah, but he might not break 30.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Anyway,
folks, that's it. Right, we're back later. Hopefully more happens, because there's not really a lot happening, is there?
No, quiet window so far, but that can change in the next 5 hours. Till next time. Peace.